Maren Nietz. From 2000 to 2014, the Colorado River experienced the worst 15-year drought on record. The flows were 19% below the state of Colorado's averages for 1906 through 1999. This information is according to Roger S. Porty. He was the Senior Science Advisor for Climate Change and the Director of the National Integrated Drought Informational System. In the book Drought and Water Crises, Science, Technology, and Management Issues, republished in 2016. No matter the environment nor the species, every living thing needs water, whether that be humans, plants, or even sharks. This is why we should all care about the quality and preservation of water. The water markets cannot solve the Colorado River crisis. First, I will talk about what the Colorado River crisis is and why it's a problem. Then, I will move on to how the water markets in Mexico is detrimental for the quality of the river. First, let's go into what the Colorado River crisis is and why it's a problem. In a span of 15 years, the drought has caused lasting effects on the people, habitats, and ecosystems surrounding the river. The Colorado River has been a distributor of water since the dawn of time. According to John Murphy, an employee at the George Mason University, in the report COASE in Colorado, exploring the effects of transaction costs on water markets, published in 2021, the Colorado River currently supplies the water needs of 7 U.S. states, 2 Mexican states, and 34 Native American tribes, totaling up to 25 million inhabitants. The drought started in 2000 and ended in 2014, and the water transactions that go into Colorado, the Colorado River, account for about half of any of the water transactions that occur in any given year. But we are still seeing large economic and environmental repercussions from it today. These repercussions include the decrease of water, unmet ecosystem needs, the unmet water quality requirements, and the growth of many large water receptors that are just not being met. Now that we understand what the Colorado River crisis is, let's move on to water markets. Water markets have been a strategy to solve the Colorado River crisis for years. The U.S. legislation has been using the strategy for about 10 years. According to Bradley Udall, the director of the Western Water Assessment at the University of Colorado, in the journal Advancing Earth and Space Science, republished in 2016, water markets are the trading and transportation of water in the environments in need. Now that we understand what water markets are, let's move on to how the water markets in Mexico were a large problem. The water quality in Mexico has always been an issue for the Colorado River for years. The stream salinity at the Mexican border went from 400 milligrams to 800 milligrams in the 1950s. Stream salinity is the measurement of salts in water. The issue with this is that it creates not only unusable water, but also it creates toxic algae that endanger the habitat and all the animals that are living in it. The water quality in Mexico contaminates the little bit of water the Colorado River has left. In 1974, an attempt to help this problem was made. An agreement between the United States and Mexico, which gave the United States the control and the cost of the desalination of the water at the border. This was a good process until 3 factors came into play that disrupted the progress. Number 1 was the devastating drought. Number 2 was the growth of habitats. And number 3 was the borders between the United States and Mexico are constantly changing. Therefore, we didn't know where the United States ended and Mexico began. First, I talked about what the Colorado River crisis is. Then, I moved on to how the Mexico water markets were a large problem for the Colorado River. The water markets cannot solve the Colorado River crisis. This just goes to show that the the process we are using is not working. The Colorado River is still not recovered from still not fully recovered from this economic devastation. And if we ever want to be fully recovered from this economic devastation, we need to find a new way to help the river that 25 million people